Oh boy, it's time for the second Republican presidential debate. I know I'm a few days late on this because I had a Mario Kart tournament on that day, and then I had hockey preseason games, which I was excited for. But now I was able to get the chance to watch this now, and I see that this is in California in the Reagan Library. Yeah, Ronald Reagan, the last good Republican president before it all went down the drain. I mean, of course, like Bush, he was okay. W. Bush, he did make mistakes and all that. And then there's Trump, like, no. But it's good to be in a place that talks about Reagan. However, I'm not sure if this is a library, because from my understanding of libraries, like when you go to a library, you have books, you have laptops, and all that. Like, library is a place to read. I've never seen a library that has a fucking plane inside of it. Like, what other library has a plane inside of it? It's like, is this the title of this place is misleading. They should have been calling this the Reagan Presidential Airline. Like why is that at an airport? Like, we need more airports to get more people places to go. And is this really a good place to have a debate? Because from my understanding of libraries, it's always quiet. So why break that rule with a lot of loud noises, especially when the candidates argue? I don't know why, but this should be interesting.
I do have a lot of sympathy for the workers, however. People are going through real hardship in this country. I've been through hardship growing up. My father stared down layoffs at GE under Jack Welch's tenure at the GE plant in Evendale, Ohio. My mom had to work overtime in nursing homes in Southwest Ohio to make ends meet and pay off our home loan. So I understand that hardship is not a choice, but victimhood is a choice.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Inflation that Nikki spoke about is absolutely right, and it's caused by government spending. And that's why people all across this country are suffering tonight. And yet we don't get any answers because Joe Biden hides in his basement and won't answer as to why he's raising the debt the way he's done. And Donald Trump hides behind the walls of his golf clubs and won't show up here to answer questions like all the rest of us are up here to answer. He put $7 trillion on the debt. He should be in this room to answer those questions for the people you talk about who are suffering.
Facts. Trump is on the path to failure because he thinks he is too good to be at the debates. Like, that is how you lose. By doing that, you are showing us that you are all talk, no action. Like, it's like applying for a job, accepting the offer, and not showing up to work at all. Like, at that point, what's the point of doing something if you're not going to do it?
I'll tell you this. Donald Trump failed on this as well. He said he was going to build a wall across the whole border. He built 52 miles of wall and said Mexico would pay for it. Guess what? I think if Mexico knew that he was only going to build 52 miles, they might have paid for the 52 miles.
Shots fired! We're going to build the roast wall, and Trump will pay for it.
I favor ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal immigrants in this country. Now, the left will howl about the Constitution and the 14th Amendment. The difference between me and them is I've actually read the 14th Amendment. It's not the fault of anybody who's in politics.
Some of us are tainted.
Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting while I'm speaking.
That one there was a violation.
We've got to bring law and order back to this country, and not just in our cities. But we need the law and order back everywhere. We need law and order back in our suburbs. People are threatened there. We need it in our rural areas. People feel threatened there. And we need it in Washington, D.C. also. And Donald Trump should be here to answer for that, but he's not. And I want to look at that camera right now and tell you, Donald, I know you're watching. You can't help yourself. I know you're watching, okay? And you're not here tonight. Not because of polls and not because of your indictments. You're not here tonight because you're afraid of being on this stage and defending your record. You're ducking these things. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
Oh my God! Shots have been fired! The shots heard around the world. He pulled a Liam Neeson there.
I met family in Iowa. Two parents, Kathy and Derek. They lost their son Sebastian, 17 years old. He bought Percocet on Snapchat, and then he died. Why did he die? Because it was laced with fentanyl. That is closer to bioterrorism, not a drug overdose. That is poisoning. So it is our job to make sure that never happens. But it's also our job to make sure that 17-year-olds don't turn to Percocet via Snapchat. We have to bring back mental health care in this country, not with pump and pharmaceuticals, but with faith-based approaches that restore purpose and meaning in the next generation of Americans. Many of them are getting it through social media. And this isn't a Republican point or a Democrat point, but if you're 16 years old or under, you should not be using an addictive social media product, period.
Wow. He just roasted millennials. They are triggered now. I'm not, though.
Our state's a dynamic state. We've got a lot of folks that come. Of course, we've had a population boom. We also don't have a lot of welfare benefits in Florida. You know,
That is a fucking lie. You have Disney World and beaches.
Florida represents the revival of American education. We're ranked #1 in the nation in education by U.S. News and World Report. My wife and I, we have a 6, 5, and 3-year-old. This is personal to us. We didn't just talk about universal school choice. We enacted universal school choice. We didn't just talk about Parents' Bill of Rights. We enacted the Parents' Bill of Rights. We eliminated critical race theory, and we now have American civics and the Constitution in our schools in a really big way, just like President Reagan asked for in his farewell address back in 1989. Florida is showing how it's done.
Seriously, again with this? You shouldn't have gotten rid of critical race theory. It is important. Same for gender ideology. Like, I get you're having them learn about the Constitution. That's fine. Showing them civics. That's fine too. But getting rid of critical race theory and gender ideology, that is not okay. Those are important. Those gives us idea about the people, how they were treated in the past, and it teaches us what not to do and what not to say to them. Like if you really want to make this better, why don't you have race and nationality classes mandatory, where they talk about all kinds of people, their history, and teaching that all people are special. Like, that is how we can stop racism.
There is not a redeeming quality in slavery. He and Kamala should have just taken the one sentence out. America has suffered because of slavery, but we've overcome that. We are the greatest nation on earth because we faced our demons in the mirror and made a decision. So often we think that all the issues, you talked about crime and education and healthcare, we always think that those issues go back to slavery. Here's the challenge though. Black families survived slavery. We survived poll taxes and literacy tests. We survived discrimination being woven into the laws of our country. What was hard to survive was Johnson's Great Society, where they decided to put money, where they decided to take the black father out of the household to get a check in the mail, and you can now measure that in unemployment, in crime, in devastation. If you want to restore hope, you've got to restore the family, restore capitalism, and put Americans back at work together as one American family. Our nation continues to go in the right direction. It's why I can say I have been discriminated against, but America is not a racist country. Never, ever doubt who we are. We are the greatest country on God's green earth. And frankly, the city on the hill needs a brand new leader. And I'm asking for your vote.
And that is how we make things better, by facing our demons, our fears, and overcome it all. Don't be afraid. Own it.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say. Because I can't believe that here you've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can get text messages, they can get all of these things.
This is very important for our party.
Exactly what they're doing.
This is very important for our party, and I'm going to say
you've gone and you've helped China make medicines in China, not America. You're now wanting kids to go and get on the social media that's dangerous for all of us. You went and you were in business with the Chinese that gave Hunter Biden $5 million. We can't trust you. We can't trust you. We can't have TikTok in our kids' lives.
This is very important.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 15 seconds.
I think, excuse me.
You have 15 seconds, Mr. Ramaswamy.
Thank you. I think we would be better served as a Republican Party if we're not sitting here hurling personal insults. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties.
A win
that has
for Russia is a
that
win
is not
for
true.
China.
We're driving
a win
Russia.
For Russia is a win for China.
Excuse me, Nikki, you'll have
but
your chance.
I forgot you like China. That's why you're
you'll have your chance in just a moment.
Yeah.
The hurling personal insults isn't helping.
How to shut up a hater 101.
I have to jump. I have to jump in here. I'm sorry.
When Mr. Ramaswamy was speaking.
There's one
Would you go
person
ahead,
on this.
please?
Stuart, can we
Governor,
get back to the question? The
no,
question
we
was
cannot.
on technology.
Governor DeSantis,
There's
I'm
one
going
person
straight.
on this stage
Sir,
that has a career
we
in
will have to
technology.
cut your mic, and I don't want to do that. I don't.
Governor Haley, reaction to that,
As the
please.
only person who's leading an energy state, could I answer the energy question?
No, Governor Haley.
Poor guy.
Nikki offered a 10-cent gas tax increase in South Carolina. Talk about someone who has never seen a federal dollar she doesn't like. 10 cents on the gallon in South Carolina. As the UN ambassador, you literally
Bring it,
put
Tim.
$50,000 on curtains in a $15 million subsidized location. Next.
You got bad information. First of all, I fought the gas tax in South Carolina multiple times against the establishment.
Just go to YouTube.
Against the establishment.
Just go to
and
YouTube
you want to know what that 10 cent
Yep.
was? When they wouldn't pass the gas tax, the establishment and the companies wanted me to do it so much that I said the only way I will
Here's
pass
what you
it
have to
if
do.
you will
All you
give
have to
us
do.
three.
All you
excuse
have
me,
to do is go
if you will
watch
give-
Nikki Haley on
Let me
YouTube.
finish.
He knows. He knows right there. He knows what to do. He knows the sources. He knows what to do, and he's got all the tools he needs.
I vote Donald Trump off the island right now. And the reason I vote him off the island,
You will not vote any of the people on the
because you know
stage
what?
off the-
Every person on this stage has shown the respect for Republican voters to come here to express their views honestly, candidly, and directly, and to take your questions honestly. I have respect for every man and woman on this stage because they've done it. Vivek, put your hand down for a second, would you? I still got time, dude. So chill out. Here, look. This guy has not only divided our party, he's divided families. all over this country. He's divided friends all over this country. I've spoken to people, and I know everyone else has, who have sat at Thanksgiving dinner or at a birthday party and can't have a conversation anymore if they disagree with Donald Trump.
Governor
He needs to be voted off the island, and he needs to be taken out of this process.
Ain't that the truth? It ruins families. Mario Party ruins friendships. Politics ruins families. Another debate in the books. So, like, it was a bit hectic compared to last time. Like, it's like they were told not to interrupt, but they do it anyways. Like, it went out of control. Now I'm glad that Trump is not in this debate, because if Trump was in this debate, it would have gone worse. Like there would literally be blood everywhere. Literally.
Candidates get 1 minute to answer and 30 seconds to respond if singled out. When their time runs out, we'll all hear this. We have a lot of ground to cover, so please keep it civilized.
The next question is for Governor DeSantis.
Here's how we get down to Washington.
Can we please respect the time?
We can get it done.
It's not the fault of anybody who's in politics. Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
No, you said painful.
If I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges we should have a
focus on the issues that matter. We know we did business in China. Everybody knows that.
If I may address,
focus on holding Joe Biden accountable. That's what we need to be focusing on.
I actually agree with Ron DeSantis.
Speaking at the same time, no one can understand.
Exactly. So if I may, we opened a subsidiary in China. But you know what I did that was different than every other company? We got the hell out of there. And when I started my next company, Strive, right when that's years ago. Right when I started my next company, Strive, to compete against BlackRock. Excuse me. To compete against BlackRock, I made a commitment that we would never do business in China. And I will say something.
Yes. I think you have more than time to explain your point.
Well, if I was interrupted by a lot of people here, and I want to be respectful because I believe you were respectful, but I do not believe in these. We're sitting here in the Reagan Library.
Yes, I wish you
in the honor of Ronald Reagan's library, if I may. From one admirer of Ronald Reagan to another. From one admirer of Reagan to another. We cannot sit here and violate Reagan's 11th commandment.
I want to hear about that.
Let's have a policy debate.
What's going on?
Let us have a policy debate.
Let's have about their record.
Let's have a policy debate.
And do you want to just remind everyone, there's 1 minute for questions, 30 seconds for a follow-up, and the more you mention each other, that means the fewer questions you're going to get. Okay.
If you talk over everybody, we lose time.
That's what makes America great, because we're not a perfect nation. We're founded on the pursuit of perfection. That is what makes America great. And that is why we will end it once we win this election.
I have to jump. I have to jump in here. I'm sorry. There's one person on this.
And actually have a legitimate debate about policy, following Reagan's 11th Commandment in his honor. And the answer is, that is what actually makes our country strong. And I believe in these people. These are good people on the stage. They disagree, but let's have a legitimate disagreement. That's what I would say. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. That is not true. We're driving Russia. Excuse me. If you have a chance, you'll have your chance in just a moment. The hurling personal insults isn't helping.
Governor DeSantis. Governor DeSantis, this question is for you.
Our voters enacted a constitutional amendment.
You banned it before they voted.
No, it's not true.
You banned it before they voted, and not only that, they didn't vote on fracking.
Totally wrong. They voted it in. That's what we did. Onshore, we do it in Florida. We don't have as much as maybe West Texas, but we do it. But that was a constitution. So that's just wrong. And let's just get real here. My plan will get the job done. We are going to be energy dominant, and that's what's going to happen.
And the voters didn't even vote on fracking, and you banned fracking.
Moving on with this question for Governor DeSantis. Governor, excuse me, we cannot talk over each other. We must respect each other's time. My apologies for that.
It's been there 12 years, and he hasn't done any of that. He hasn't. They've only given 4 budgets on time in 40 years. He was part of that. He increased the national debt. He voted for the spending. He has made sure that the borders are open, and they haven't done anything. Look at everything in South Carolina. 12 years. Where have you been?
I voted no on all. I voted on most of the things.
We've waited, and nothing has happened.
Here's what you've done.
Here's the thing that I find interesting.
Ron, let me finish it first.
These guys have said
here's the fact.
And I appreciate a lot of the things they're saying.
First of all, I fought the gas tax in South Carolina multiple times against the establishment.
Just go to YouTube.
Against the establishment.
Just go to
and
YouTube
you want to know what that 10 cent
Yeah.
was? When they wouldn't pass the gas tax, the establishment and the companies wanted me to do it so much that I said the only way I will pass
Here's what you have
it
to
if
do.
you will give us 3.
All you have to do is go watch Nikki Haley on YouTube.
If you will give me 3 times the deduction in income tax, then I will look at your gas tax,
said
which
yes,
is why it didn't
you would
happen.
pass. Exactly, Ron.
Secondly, on the 50 million.
Here is a nice part.
Secondly, on the curtains, do your
Yes.
homework, Tim, because Obama bought those curtains.
Did you send them back?
It's in the
Did you send them back?
It's the State Department.
Did you send them back?
Did you send them back? You're the one that works in Congress.
Oh my gosh.
You get it
You
right.
hung them on your curtains.
They were there before I even showed up at the residence. You are scrapping. You are scrapping. Excuse me. You know I fought
Here's the fact.
taxes.
Here's the fact, though.
But I cut I loaded up our
You wanted a gas tax increase, and then you wanted
We do not intend to go ahead like this. In fact, we're about to take a commercial break.
Oh, shut up.